Good morning, my community. This is another installment, wonderful installment of Black Lives Matter community. Our Saturday conversation that we have that is open to the community. I'm always putting out a plug that I wish, let's step it up, community. Let's get more people involved in coming down and having a conversation, because when we have conversation, we eliminate confrontation. And even though we may not agree on everything, Malcolm X said one thing about, having different religions and different ideologies and even opinion. We put all that stuff in the closet, and then we come in and get some work done. And then you can go back and, do the jumping jacks and all those kind of things if you want to go down the line of doing some other. And just having a wonderful life, guys, without all this drama, with all this tea and all this stuff, mess that's going on, I said the other day, the biggest mess that we continue to face is what we see in the mirror. We cause the mess in our life. So anyway, I want to just say hello to our community. I am so glad to be here. Again, I'm Brother Hubert Naeem Roberts. It is always a blessing to come to you guys. I definitely want to honor my parents and my family, my ex-wife, Deborah Davis. I want to give a shout out to my son, Deontay Davis. I think it's very important that we acknowledge our children. I'm going to give a shout out to mine. Again, we have Kenya, Tanya, Brandis, Javon, and little Hubert. And then I also have Quanda. I have Dante, like I just said. And I do have some other people that are not biologically connected to me. They consider me dad. Terrence McCary down in Atlanta, Georgia. Brothers Kelvin Wilson, Malcolm Wilson, all them guys. I know some of you guys may be familiar with them guys, but he also has adopted me as his dad. So I want to reach out and just give a spiritual and vibrational holler out to my immediate family, like I say, my children, my grandchildren. Got to holler at, Skylar, my great grandbaby. That is the love of my life. That's my Skylar. Skylar, I do the Skylar. Miguel had this song called Skywalker, right? And so sometimes she loved Prince and Miguel, because I play that sometimes. This morning, I started this morning with Cosmic Slop, Parliament Funkadelic. We had Eddie Hazel on lead, Bernie Worrell on synthesizer, were really, the old type of Hammond organ. He had multiple organs, Eddie Hazel and Bernie Worrell. Just want to highlight them brothers, as far as some mornings, I kind of start out with my musical prelude. Want to give a shout out to my therapist, Dr. Lenore. Been in extensive therapy for 2 years, guys. I'm not ashamed to talk about it. I think we all need therapy. I think this whole planet needs therapy, and specifically people in America. Americans really need extensive therapy, the other day, I don't know if any of you guys caught that judge down in Louisiana 3 days ago, using nigger. Just allegedly her house was being broken into, and her and her husband and children was like, look at that nigga this, just nigga. Then she gonna say that her medication caused her to say those words, and now she's trying, the community have asked her to step down because 57% of the community is black. And she's 57 years old. You should have heard her little children just laughing, husband and them laughing about the language that she was using. And and that's what gets me, guys, going into my conversation about the delusion we are under. We have people like Dan Kildee and Governor Snyder, Mr. Snyder. I ain't gonna give him no respect on Governor. Mr. Snyder and Swanson, and especially man, you talking about Patel was an evil sheriff. As far as when it comes to the law, and how we continue to be persecuted by the laws of this country. I want y'all to understand this. The U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and in 1857, the great Dred Scott decision made it clear that black people have no rights. They have not overruled the Dred Scott decision. And even right now, what's going on? Do you know officers have immunity for killing people for corruptions? None of them are tested for drug use, for alcohol use, or mental illness, but they want to hold us to a higher standard. You know, they can produce and have license to kill and say we can't carry guns, even if you're a convicted felon, which is a bunch of BS, because even the 13th Amendment was a sham and was intentional to keep us in bound. Do you know once they passed the compromise of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, those devils, man, made it very clear that as long as you had a felony, that you would be back into a peonage law or convict leasing again, meaning that as long as you had a felony or that you were a felon, you had no more rights in this country. And you have black folks that look like me, and then those that are light-skinned that want to be white. You know, they want to uphold this country, uphold the laws of this country, when the laws are diametrically and have proven to be diametrically opposed to our lives. We are cut out of everything, from home ownership. The Homestead Act, guys, we never received 160 acres. White people came to this country. They were not in chains or in bondage. They came free of their will and was granted everything. Our liquor stores and gas stations in this country are owned and operated by people from Arab people, was intentionally. They did not allow black people to own stores, to own gas stations, to get liquor license, to be able to participate in this system called America. And then they get and make it our fault that we have to go to crime. We literally have to go to crime to survive. And I know a lot of you people listening to me say that's not true, but it is true. I mean, even right now, when you get a degree to be a teacher, and then you have to do a dance to be certified. After you got a degree, you got to be certified. And that certification can be skewed because in New York, they proved it. These firefighters and police officers were trying to get promoted. The test was so skewed to make sure that black people couldn't pass it. And they always want to say that we don't have the mental capacity to pass tests or to be intelligent. When they want to always change the rules. They make the rules. Then when we make sure that we are appropriately and have the ability to achieve what the rules say we should achieve, or those guidelines, we're still not good enough. And we continue to beg and plead for white people to accept us. And in Flint, it's appalling what's going on in this city. We don't vote. And let me tell y'all a little history right now. I know this is going to hurt you. You Negroes run out and support Black Friday. The history of Black Friday was when slave owners did their books. Black Friday comes right out of slavery. That is when the slave owner did their books, meaning they reviewed their ledger with the property, meaning we were property. You know, Buck, Blue, and all these other names they gave us, right? Because we didn't have no legal names. But they fucked us all the time, the boys and the girls. But we didn't have no legal names. And then they start breeding us. But Black Friday comes right out of, and we participate in Black Friday going to these stores for these discounts. And white people are just laughing at how foolish we are to spend a dime on Black Friday when it was developed by slave owners. And we continue to behave in ways that are totally unacceptable because we don't even want to know our history. You know, once you know your history, it's like this. I do this to my students sometimes. I take a blank sheet of paper and I give it to my students. I say, complete the assignment, and I walk out the room. I say, I'll be back in 5 minutes. And the same thing, they are, what do you mean, Mr. Roberts, complete the assignment? You ain't, unless, again, you have to be instructed or told what the assignment is and what to do. Many times, we are living our lives with no plan, we don't understand the process because that's how we become processed. We don't understand the process because we are unwilling to read, to study. We're unwilling to ask for real help. We send our children out to the suburbs to get educated by people that hate our children. That's our children are our precious resources. They are the most important things that we have, and we give our children over to people that hate them. And then we don't internalize, do the things we should do every day in our own homes about teaching our own children. I deal with 9th to 12th graders right now at Southwestern. I'm calling it out. They don't know their multiplications, can't cursive write, can't read. They just pass them. And they building a new 600-bed cell on Pasadena Street. And in Detroit, they building a new 1,200 cell jail across the expressway from the Ford Field. They're building a 1,200 cell jail. Do you know Lapeer Prison population is 1,200 people? Do you know that money from the census every year goes to those that are assigned, they're supposed to go back to the community, goes to the Lapeer. And those prisoners have no say-so, and that money has helped to build up and improve Lapeer. The city of Lapeer have been able to build their infrastructure and businesses back on the backs of slaves, meaning those men and women, those men that are locked up in Lapeer at the Thumbs prison provide tremendous benefit for Lapeer City as far as income is concerned. Most of those people live out there are white. Most of the officers are white. Administration is white. In Lapeer, all of the businesses are white. And all that money comes on the back of Black and brown people that are housed in Lapeer prison that are allowing those white people to live so comfortably. And they are very happy. And that's the problem that we are having. We are happy to play football and basketball. The title of this is Delusion. We are under a serious delusion of inclusion. We think we are included in a system that is diametrically opposed to us. And it's appalling what's going on and how we are allowing ourselves to be victimized of a system that was designed to victimize us. It was designed to exploit us. It was designed to castrate us. It was designed to internalize us to hate each other. And this is witnessed by the music we listen to, Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, the games we play, the way we kill each other in the street, as far as rappers beefing with rappers, the way we destroy our communities block by block. It is appalling that our churches and these preachers have no relationship with the community. You know, we keep talking about God in heaven. And what the ministers are giving to our community is unacceptable. They're not talking about wealth building, meaning community building. I'm not talking about for the preacher to have a Maybach and his children, they straight. I'm talking about house by house in our community. Everything in that house should be tight because it starts with leadership. It starts with an understanding about who you are and what your purpose is in life. And unless we're going to start calling people out and stop supporting these ministries, stop supporting TD Jakes and ooh, that Creflo Dollar and Joel Osteen. Just found out Joel Osteen a couple of weeks ago, money was hidden up in the church. Several $100,000, tithes and offering. Y'all remember about in 2013, he said his church was broken into, $1 million came up missing. You know, I mean, it's sad. And there are many black people that go to Joel Osteen church. When the flood happened, Joel Osteen didn't open up his church. He didn't help nobody. But we still give our money to these people. We still believe in this white Jesus. And you know, I know you guys get tired of me, and you know, you think I'm a black nationalist, which I'm not. You know, I'm a black realist. You know, I believe that, I believe like Native Americans. I believe I have a right to live in this country, to not be attacked. I believe we have a right to have unions, to have affordable health care, to work at a job that's providing health care. We should be able to work at a job at $3.50 or $3.19 a gallon of gas. How you gonna work at a job for $12 an hour, $15 an hour, and many of us gotta go out to the suburbs to work. And don't let the streets look. It's snowing out there, y'all. Do you know how dangerous it is? A lot of our people are driving back and forth and don't have decent tires. Even myself, I need new tires. Can't afford them. I need new tires, man. Real talk, man. When you think about how you're trying to, you know, pay Peter and pay Paul to do the best you can, and you live in a society where in 1990, there were 64 billionaires in America. In 1990, there were 64 billionaires in America. Brother Roberts, how many are there today? Today, there are over 600 billionaires in America, more than any other country on the planet. And most of those billionaires pay no taxes. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Koch brothers, the Waltons that own Walmart that you guys flood to. It's appalling how we being prostituted, sodomized daily, because we will not boycott. It's appalling that we continue to allow the NBA and the NFL to rape us. Those black and brown men that are playing those games, all of them should be, in my opinion, I don't want to say it, but they should not be allowed to, I wish they would wake up. I wish they would find out that they do have some power to change this system. They have not passed the George Floyd bill, the lynching bill, the infrastructure bill. When you think about police officers getting immunity, having immunity, and we can't even vote. They have not passed the voting rights bill. And we sit back and continue to supply money in a system that will not allow you to equally participate. We're not asking for no special treatment. We're asking to be left alone. We continue to be hunted, literally hunted. And when we're stopped by the police for whatever reason. They justify killing us. You move wrong, you said wrong, you acted wrong. Why you got to give somebody to talk? You got, and then when the other day I was on a program and it was 2 police officers on there, and I said that policing was started to catch runaway slaves and to protect white property. That's the policing in America was started to keep black people, like you say, in their position and to kill them and to hunt them. That's what policing was started in this country for. And a lot of people talk about reform police. The police department and justice department is doing what they've been designed to do. In 1970, the United States spent $200 million a year on incarceration. In 1970, they spent $200 million on incarceration across the country, 50 states. Today, they spend over $300 billion. How did that happen, guys? They spent over $300 billion to lock black and brown people up. We 5% of the world population, but we lock 25% of our people up. That's not by chance, and most of them are black and brown people. Most people on death row, black and brown people. Most people that are in jail right now is in there for drug use, for drug problems, for drug trafficking. And now in 13 states, they legalized marijuana, guys, and people are still locked up in the states that they done legalized it. How did that work, man? What delusion is that? That right there alone should have these NFL players and these Olympians and these NBA players not supporting the system, man. They continue to just outright exploit in your face. You done legalized marijuana, dispensaries, and you still got people locked up because it's a business. It's a way of life. Senators and congressmen own businesses that supply these plantations. From all type of food, from clothing to everything you can imagine. And most of these people that are locked up are making clothes or items for Fortune 500 companies, man. That's why the guys that are locked up, the men and women are locked up, they too need to check themselves because none of them should be working for no prison system. We are calling for a boycott. Our men and women need to stop working in the cafeteria or the chow hall is what they call it. Stop working in any kind of prison manufacturing. Avon, Gucci, Calvin Klein, all these kind of products y'all are making for these Fortune 500 companies, man, that are being sold on the free market because the one of the worst presidents we ever had was Bill Clinton. One of the worst presidents. Bill Clinton was worse than Donald Trump. And y'all called him a brother. So sad because we don't know our history. In 1950, Woodrow Wilson played Birth of a Nation in 1915 in the White House. Holla at you, Birth of a Nation. It was the indoctrination of the Klan. And right now, you got white people standing behind like David Layton, and you got Mr. Perry over the Defender's Department. You got Perry that have no problem sending black and brown people away over the Defender's Department. They're supposed to help black and brown people or people they caught up in the system. And then you got David Layton that has a record of, and along with all of the white judges downtown. Do you know in the Superior Court downtown right now, there's not one black face? They got rid of Archie Hammond. He got tricked up with the wiki, you know? And now he's not there no more. Love the brother, love Archie Hammond. But he got caught up again with the white woman. Chasing, every time we deal with these white women, Tiger Woods, perfect example. Every time you get with these white women, you think how sad it is, man. You know, and then we run to where and marry these white women. And then Serena Williams with the white guy. You know, I used to be in love with Serena Williams, man. I said one day, if she ever got in my path and anywhere around me, I was gonna holler at her, right? Real talk. She was gonna have to tell her brother, listen, brother, I understand the brother, but I ain't feeling you because I'm going to go in hard on the sister, right? Because I think she is one of the most beautiful women on the planet. But her character is so flawed. How do you have a dad like Richard Williams and then marry a devil, the white devil, and then have a baby by the devil? How do you psychologically, and you go to show you how screwed up we are? Because people push back on me saying, well, she tried to date black men and they didn't step up to the plate. Well, she didn't come see me. I would have stepped up to the plate. Listen, that's a conversation for another day. The delusion. We gonna die, guys. You know, it's so sad. We are definitely going to die. I was in the county jail the other day. You know, I do a class in the county jail, right? And I'm with a program there. I'm with a brother, working with a brother. Shout out to Mr. Sams. He's been working on a program for 20 years. It's a 36 module program. It's a bad program, right? And talking to the men the other day, you know, I get emotional, right? Because I was in their shoes, man, you know. So I know how they're feeling, you know. Some of the brothers facing life, right? Some of the brothers, the information, you know, what they've been charged with and all that kind of stuff is skewed. I'm making a point that many of us want to talk about other people and don't realize our own imprisonment, meaning psychologically, how we imprison ourselves by not wanting to really tap into our history. I'm a strong component of history because it's present and it somewhat gives us a direction of how to move forward for the future. And one thing these white people ain't playing with, they clear about history because they have the tools to make it happen. They have all the tools to make the rules. So again, I say about learning the game, learning how to play the game, what the rules of the games are. These white people don't play fair. They cheat, they lie, they steal, and they kill. And we keep wanting to play their game when we need to have our own game. That's why boycotting is the only game we got. Stepping away from the matrix is the only game that we got. The only power we really got, guys, we need to step back. We need to step back and reclaim who we are, guys. We need to stop chasing and buying cars, guys. We need to stop chasing and watching these videos and these illusions of our young women half naked. And our young rappers walking around here all tatted up and got on these dresses. They walk around here with these dresses with their nails painted, man. You know, I got a great-granddaughter, Skylar, right? And I be playing with her, painting her nails. They ain't never thought about she be a granddad paint yours. I tell them, man, don't paint their nails. Now I done got manicures and all that and get a little clear. Holla, holla, holla. But I ain't getting no color. What's up with that, man? They're talking about, oh, you want to be free. Now, one thing about us and knowing our history, we are mimicking unconsciously our ancestors 10,000 years ago. Because what we did 10,000 years ago, we used our bodies as art, yes. We did the coloring from the hair and the braids and all kind of tats and all, but they had meaning. Back in the day when we tatted up or when we did certain things tribally, there was a purpose for it. There is not a glorification for some other insane stuff. It was a purpose in everything that we did. Everything had a purpose. It wasn't just running around trying to say who could look more outrageous than the next. And again, I have been boycotting NFL, Olympics, all sports, and NCAA, all that stuff. NCAA is $1 trillion business. The NCAA is $1 trillion business. NBA $1 trillion business. NFL multiple $1 trillion business. In all of those fields, we are highly represented in those fields. And we are paid less than 0.1% when they're making billions. My sister at the door, brother. It is our fault. It is our fault that these things are happening. It is our fault that we allow ourselves to be in such a desperate need that we are exploited, that we are treated like prostitutes. And that's how savage the system is. The system is savage because we don't know, again, back to understanding what the game is and how the game has been developed by people that don't look like me and you. And again, happy birthday! Birthday person's in the house. We gotta holler that out. So that's why, again, we allow ourselves to be so in a situation where we're wondering why our communities are in such distress. And because of that, we do have this a solution, and boycotting is all that we have. When I mentioned about, the history of Black Friday, it's appalling that we support Black Friday. And I must reiterate, because we don't know the history of how the slave master, that was the ledger time. That's the time that they made sure that these slaves and how at the end of the year, things lined up to close out the books as far as their property are concerned. That's where Black Friday comes from. It comes right out of slavery. It comes right out of plantation owners. And then we internalize it and run out to these stores. And then the merchants and the people that's running the system are just laughing at you Negroes, running out to get cheaper items or items at a cheaper rate on this so-called Black Friday. And that's why history is so important, because history shows up every day and we don't acknowledge it. We fall prey to it. We participate in it because we don't want to know. Once you know something, you are held accountable. Once you know the truth, you can choose to continue to lie to yourself, which most of us do, yes. But once you know the truth, then you are accountable. You're held accountable. And then your actions are going to be based on that truth. Because again, the topic of the day is the topic for our discussion, community conversation day, that we are under an illusion of inclusion in this country. We continue to want to be included in a system, in an ideology, in an agenda that is diametrically opposed. I said earlier about unions built. When you think about after 1861, really, before 1861, there wasn't no unions because Black people built, created everything, right? After 1863, so-called emancipation, which was a lie, they developed white unions, right? Because then it became skilled labor, right? Carpenters, plumbers, everything, blacksmiths, everything, those became skilled jobs. White people unionized them and said Black people were excluded from them on every level. Henry Ford, all them. General Motors, Martin, all them staunch racists, man. When you think about the system that's been created, the plantation, they call factories plants. Y'all look at the correlations. Factories are called plants. The assembly line was called an assembly line, but it was based on, and again, that's why history is so important. George Washington Carver taught Henry Ford the mechanism for assembly line, which was based on picking cotton. See the correlations, guys? And again, we don't realize George Washington Carver was castrated when he was 13 years old, by some white people in Iowa. Brilliant man. If any of you guys get a chance, y'all need to go and look on YouTube some of his early talking. He talked with a high-pitched voice. They had a white child, a daughter, and they didn't want that his little winky getting up in her. So they castrated me, you know what I mean? They don't tell you though, that's why history is important. They don't tell you that story. You know, they don't want to tell you the story again about Black Friday. You know, they don't want to really tell you the story about the Trail of Tears, guys. They don't want to tell you the story about Central Park, which was called Seneca, which was a black village. Central Park was a black village. They don't want to tell you about the 10 million Congolese that were killed. I'm talking about their hands and their feet were chopped off back in 1885 by King Leopold II, exploiting rubber, coltan, diamond, all those raw materials, and he was sadistic. Why is that important today? Because again, it goes back to the NBA and these athletes not boycotting. We have to shut this country down. The conversation is around what's the solution? What's the answer? We got to shut this country down. They are attacking voting rights. They're saying you will not have a right to vote, guys. That's strong, man. How do you lie about a perfect union? The Constitution, the paperwork that is written on is garbage because they're not even upholding their own lie. Well, yeah, they are. I'm sorry. We got to correct ourselves. The original Constitution was clear. White people had the right to vote, white landowners, not white women, and especially no other immigrant. So I stand corrected. The Constitution originally is doing what it's designed to do, white power, period. So for this conversation, I always want to speak truth to you guys so you can look it up. The Bill of Rights also clear. No rights for black people. 1857, the Dred Scott decision that has never been overturned specifically says white people do not have to respect anything about a black person. It's got it in the document paper from the court. It says specifically, no white person has to respect anything that a black person says or do, and that a black person has no rights. This is what the Dred Scott decision states, and it's never been overturned. And you wonder why we have the Tiger Woods, or you wondering why we have David Layton and the Sheriff Swanson, and then Pakel Evil Self. And then we have our preachers running behind them, you know, sucking their phalluses. You know, this is why we have the situation that we have, especially in Flint. You know, it's appalling that we are in the situation we're in with our so-called council members. And then if you ever watch the county, if you ever watch the county council and how they run their council, man, it's like night and day, man. It's like when you see how they run the things out in Fenton, oh man, you know, again, there's always a way to do anything. And when you don't hold people accountable, then as we do with police officers, as we do with billionaires, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, you know, Elon Musk is a terrible human being. You know, many of the things that he is doing with Tesla, with their lithium battery, you know, guys don't realize, you know, when you think about what it does to make a car and bring a car to manufacture a car, one little car, and the kind of pollution that it produces. Because even when we talk about green energy, there are so many components that go into the lithium battery that are plastic based. When we talk about, you know, electric cars, there are so many components of oil that goes into to make that Tesla or to make that electric car that we don't really realize because we do no research. You know, we don't really understand back, again, we're so emotional. You know, you know, all of us are like are like little children. I think a lot of it is that we're like little children. We see a shiny object and we kind of run to it. You know what I mean? We go celebrate it. We have no knowledge of what happened in the past. We don't know where it came from. We're so immature, right? Because we're little children. So we gravitate towards that. And I think, that's the problem that we're having, across the board in our community and in one another. When you think about male and female relationships, when you think about the fragmentation of the family, um, a lot of times we won't have those real hard conversations and hold even you and I accountable, because I should be held accountable with my behavior, and I should be expected to not blow up and blow out. I should be able to listen and maybe take some time off and say, you know what? I haven't thought about it like that. I'm going to really check myself and do some self-reflection. I think so often, especially as men, I can talk about the man thing, right? Now, I was raised by some strong women, like my mom, pit bull, life shake and drop, right? And I can say, you know, a lot of times I do believe it takes a group, a unified group, to to raise children. I believe that male and that female presence is so important, because if it was not important, I don't think it would have been created the way we've been created, guys. We do need that yin and yang. I think it has gotten so skewed because, especially we as men, a lot of times we won't humble ourselves because, we're definitely ignorant. We don't know some things, and then we lie and try to pretend that we do, And I think, especially and not making no excuses, but, the enslavement of our people really did a tremendous damage to our community.
I have a question for you.
Oh, yes, sister.
I just kind of wanted to piggyback back where you said we're talking about the lithium batteries and how we just don't pay attention to things and we don't understand things. And you were talking about we don't understand, we just chasing the shiny object. And that, one of those things that I don't think is talked about enough are diamonds and blood diamonds, right? Because like all the rappers and everybody are so just big on having these diamonds, but they don't even really understand, the whole thing about how the diamonds are mined and, blood diamonds.
Blood diamonds.
And that could be a thing. They don't know what they're wearing or whatever. They just go for the shiny object. And I think those are some of the things that they don't really research and pay attention to, So I think that conversations should be had more about that as well, because people want these big old diamonds, they want all these things, but they don't even know the hell that's gone through to even get it or to mine it. So when you say we are chasing the shiny things, that's what resonated with me. And I'm like, we literally are. We chasing the shiny things, like buying Jordans all the time, standing in these long lines, and we don't even know that he is investing in prisons.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And we just do those things, and we're not researching enough, and we're not trying to do our own thing, like create our own shoe line.
Right.
Or support Shaq because his shoe line is in Walmart. We don't think that's good enough.
Right.
Or even and LeVar Ball, right? And Marbury, remember that story that was
Stephen Marbury?
Stephon Marbury, remember?
Yeah.
And we didn't want to buy those because they was only $15 or $20, saying. But those are the things we need to be looking at, not at the big name, like all of these big shiny things, because the price ticket is $600, right?
Right.
We should be preserving that money and putting it back into our communities and recirculating it in our Black communities, right? At least 30 times.
Now, when you mention that, it's amazing that and let's start with the diamonds, because historically back in the early 14th century, most of our ancestors, meaning the Kikuyu, the Igbo, and the list can go, thousands of our different family members, diamonds were not praised like the cowrie shell.
Right.
See, that's the difference when you think about it. And so many times that is a European thing. And back to the topic today is we are suffering from the illusion of inclusion. Most of those, the beard and all those diamond conglomerates, the diamond mines is like 3 and 4 miles under the earth, right? And many of our ancestors, the way they are treated when they go down into these mines are in horrible condition. Many of the shafts caves in. Many of them have died underground. When they are brought up out of the ground, like I say, 3 miles down there, they are x-rayed, meaning they have to go through every day, go through an x-ray machine, which is killing them.
Yeah, radiation.
To make sure they ain't stole anything. And then when you think about the science of a diamond, how a diamond is made is through pressure. And it goes to show again about, as you said, about us not understanding and the rappers not understanding that misery and that pain. And it has been done intentionally. See, what's happening with us as Black people in America, we always wanted to have a voice and we want to be seen. That's why we go to extreme. That's why we wear yellow and pink hair. That's why our eyelashes are out to here. That's why we get big butts. That's why we get all the long hair down to the ground. That's why we do all these extravagant things. Our young men paint their female, wear dresses. They do all these things because I want you to see me, because I've never been seen or validated in this country. It is a psychological twisting of the energy, that the greatness that we really are, because we don't have to do all those things. And when you mentioned earlier about, Stephen Marbury and coming up with affordable shoes, all that is market brand driven. A $600 Gucci belt. All that is produced by the what do you call it? What is that guy name? The boxer name? This is insane.
Mayweather.
All that
Floyd
is,
Mayweather.
yeah, that's produced. Yeah, that's produced by these kind of people, right? Because it is back to that illusion that I've got a briefcase full of money that I can go to the strip club and throw up thousands of dollars, and you can't. It's that I got a Maybach, or that commercial with Rick Ross. He got 3,000 Maybachs in the driveway with the trunk open with Burger King in it. I mean, think about the psychological messaging that we are sending to our children. We send these messages to our children that you are nothing unless you wear diamonds, that our people are being exploited on. The diamond really have no value.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And that's the key. And that's why I'm saying, and people don't really research and really know that it really doesn't mean anything. It's an overpriced rock. It's nothing. It really isn't. But you don't value gold.
Come on.
And that's where it's at.
Come on.
We even ate it.
Come on.
It's good for you.
It's good for you. Not real talk. See?
Those are the things that they're not, that's what they're not grasping. That's what they're not researching. But even bigger than that, that's what we're not teaching.
And that's where it starts, honey.
Yep.
Even when you think about our own ancestors and our contemporaries on the African continent right now. We have Africa, the continent has 54 countries. And some of the more progressive countries in Africa, our folks are mimicking what they see us do.
They are.
We got Black people on the continent of Africa, they want to be white. They sell more bleaching cream on the continent of Africa than they do anywhere else in the world. And then we got our Black beautiful sisters and brothers. They are doing the things that they see the rappers do in America. They think that's something to do. They live on a continent with more history. Civilization started there, and they are wanting to be something that they're not. And it's appalling what's taking place. And it goes back to teaching. And again, once you have decided that you have no value, that all these other things are more valuable than you, we said this the other day about, when we look in the mirror, the thing we hate the most is ourselves, because we don't know ourselves. And that's the critical state that we're in. And we got all these other puppet masters that figure some stuff out. They like the shiny stuff. They like these other things because if we say it's cool and it's slick and we can get them to rap about it, the masses are going to flock to it. And it goes back to us not having no direction, no guidance, or really loving ourselves. And I think you hit it very clearly when you talked a minute too about the diamonds, but even about, the lithium battery and understanding that things being oil-based is not going to go away overnight. Because we have become so connected and addicted to oil that even technology have not embraced other elements because it's so easy. Now that the planet is being destroyed and the planet is regurgitating these human beings because it's saying enough is enough, some things are going to be desperately done that's going to be very, very erratic. I think what you said earlier, sister, and happy birthday, I just think is a wonderful day because you were born on this day. So often we don't give each other flowers. And so we just think that allow, your star to be birthed today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And again, when we think in terms about how we decide to move forward, if any of us in our listening audience, I think it's very clear for us to really research, be open to be vulnerable, to ask questions, and to really get some solid information. That way, you can give information to other people. If they roll with it, they roll with it. If they don't, they don't. All you want to do is, before you die, give the best and be the best that you can be. I think that's what our Creator wants of us. I think as long as we're not sitting around trying to hurt one another, I think another suggestion I would hope our community really engage into is some therapy. I think we all could benefit from therapy.
Absolutely.
I think our wellness is very important. I think we could get away from a lot of these things. Just what happened the other day downtown with the beef in Brighton. The guys, when they come back and a girl gets shot down, my son works downtown at Michigan State University, and he would kind of witness some of the drama when they got off that shuttle about an argument that started, in the suburbs at one of them plants, and they come back and somebody had to lose their life, guys. Like the brother, young Dolph, I mean, all these things happen to Nipsey, and a lot of times, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do know that the enemy is real, and that any kind of progress we are making, if people are conscious, become conscious, a lot of time they come up missing. And that's why we can't have one person being conscious. If we have the group thought, meaning that we're working together collectively, like pushing a boycott of all the NFL games and the players boycotting collectively, as a group, the NBA players not working anymore. As a group, guys, the NCAA not doing these guys, we're not playing no basketball for you guys. You guys won't allow us to vote. We can't participate in the system called America. Why should we continue to be exploited? As opposed to running to chase the $1 million contract, when the people that's hollering at you got the billions, they laugh and they saying, well, we can get replacement players and we can get crumbs and we can do anything. But again, until we stand up and say enough is enough, I'm going to continue as long as I live, guys. I am committed to being one of those people that's in the auditorium when fire break out. I'm hollering that it's a fire. Just like Frederick Douglass said about the address he gave about the so-called July 4th. There's nothing for us to celebrate. Just like Thanksgiving. The Native Americans don't celebrate Thanksgiving. It was a massacre. How you gonna be in line with celebrating something where your ancestors were murdered? How are we gonna celebrate a July 4th when we're not even included in the fabric of this country?
Even more than that, Brother Roberts, I believe that we should definitely be participating in these boycotts, and we should definitely be, boycotting things right here, even in our own city. But even more than that, we need to be protecting each other, because these people won't come up missing if we're protecting them.
No, ma'am.
These people won't be coming up killed if we're protecting them, and we're losing that. Because even if you won't stand out there and boycott because that's not your mission, be a protector. Don't allow anybody to harm this person that's standing up for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
We have to do that.
Yeah.
And not even only protecting just, we talk about protecting Black women, but not even only protecting Black women, but we need to be protecting our activists. We need to be protecting the people that have their feet on the ground, that's moving for us, that's speaking for us. And out loud, we need to be protecting them, because there's no way in hell Nipsey should be dead.
No way.
There's no way. All of those people, y'all should have been protecting him.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no way that Dolph should have been killed in his own city. If you love him so much and y'all did all of that after he was dead, you should have did it when he was alive.
That's real talk.
You should have been protecting him then. There is no way.
No way.
No way. That bothers me so much, especially Nipsey, right there where he does the most work at. He's giving up everything. He is spending his time there. He's doing all of these things for his city, right there, for his community, for his people, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Same thing as Dolph. You can say what you want to about their lyrics or whatever, but they were doing the work.
Doing the work.
They were doing the work. And you have to be protecting those people. There is no way you should be standing out there in Grand Blanc and somebody come attack you and don't nobody protect you.
Come on now.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm
We
clear
should
with
be protected. So if you want these people to continue to do those things, they need to be protected.
That's good. And that's good when you say that. Same thing with Tupac and Biggie.
Absolutely.
I mean, the list go on and on, because even that right there was intentionally done by a system. That was intentionally done by a system to exploit us, and we fell right into it. When you think about this gangster rap and all that, that was a marketing play, because other ethnic groups will not disparage their community the way we were disparaging our community, because the whole inception of rap and hip hop was positive. It was connected to the last poets. If we understand about our verbal history, a lot of the time when we think about the griots told the story of our community historically, and they did it verbally, didn't write it down. Same thing with the last poets, the same with the, when you think about the early hip hop and what was being taken with rapping, it was talking about what was going on in our community. The stories were being told honestly and rawly, what was taking place daily, the suffering, the pain, and the joy and the beauty. And again, a lot of times we got marketing forces that came in there and took over it. And again, back to us, and we are at fault, because when you don't know when you don't know whose you are, where you come from, and connected to your history, it's so easy for you to be corrupted, because the system has been designed from day one to corrupt. See, when you don't know and have no foundation, no connection, it is so easy to be corrupt, because you have no foundation to stand on. You're going to chase the diamond. You're going to chase the Maybach. You know, one thing that I wake up sometimes, like I say this morning, I woke up with Cosmic Slop, George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic. I did me some Cosmic Flop, and then yesterday I was with Aaliyah. You know what I mean? I had me a little mix. And then they had this song with Aaliyah and R. Kelly that was so profound, man. I'm Missing You. And I thought that was an excellent the way they redid it, guy. And see, those were music, and that was music that had messages. You know, now we got music that is garbage, and it's designed to destroy, and to demonize, and to drive our children crazy. That's what this music today has been designed to do.
Well, even the music, but everything by design has been for us conditioned to drive us crazy, right? And I think a lot of that, even the messages in the music has been lost, but it started even before that with us not listening to our elders when they were telling us the stories.
Yes, ma'am.
Or wanting to sit down and talk to us.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell us what was going on, or to give us our history so that we can continue to pass it on. That's where the ball was being dropped at. because we don't know it because we weren't listening.
That's
because
right.
we felt like we didn't have enough time for great grandma and big mama and them to tell us all these stories, right?
Right.
And we didn't value that. We need, you know what we should do? We should have that. We should have an elders appreciation day.
Yes.
And we should have a bunch of elders sitting in here. And all of us younger people need to sit in here and just listen to everybody's stories about that and continue to bring it on. But we need to start like
I
these.
like that. I like that.
I think we need to do that.
Elders Appreciation Day.
I think we do.
Oh, light goes off.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
There was a comment in here from judicial injustices, and I agree. And I was actually going to bring that up, is that we need to, like, all of these things that we're doing, like, we want to apply it to our city first, because charity starts at home and spreads abroad, right? And so I don't know if they were listening to us on Thursday when I said that's the movement, that we're taking our city back.
Yes.
And whether it's just us four, or it's 444, or the whole 80,000 that's here in Flint, we need to take our city back.
Yes.
And it's starting with us. So yeah, this conversation, we are talking about some other things, but we are definitely going to apply it to the city, because we intend on taking it back.
Yes, ma'am. And when you think about, ownership, and again, I think a lot of times, because when you're birthed or born in a place, a lot of times, sometimes they eschew it and say, maybe that's not the place for you. But a lot of times, once you become aware, then you are held accountable. And I think that's something that we need to look at. And by stepping up and stepping out and not compromising, again, there are some things you compromise on. But when you talk about judicial justice or equality, because the way the system and the laws were designed started off unfair, that conversation you must have. I said earlier, policing was started to catch runaway slaves and to protect white property. We were considered then as property as we are considered today as property. No matter what job you may have or what job you may think you have, you are working for somebody that is paying your check. Somebody is signing your check because you do not own the company, you do not own Consumer Powers, and the list go on and on and on. So in that mindset, you're saying, well, how do I work from within to make sure that I am galvanizing myself first and the community, where I am taking ownership to address these things that's happening that are unfair. It is clearly unfair. The judicial system, again, when we think about justice for us, and the justice system has definitely been designed intentionally, and it is proven by the records, because you can go from, that's why numbers don't lie, history don't lie, guys. You can go from 1861 to 1863. How many years is that, guys? That's just a couple of years, man. That ain't even, from 1861 to 1863. At one time in 1861, we were considered just submissive and just the best people on the planet, the best property on the planet, because we weren't considered people. We were loving, and they loved us. 1863, we were criminals. From 1861, enslaved, designated by law. When you have state sponsored, the state is sponsoring, meaning the state is paying people to kill us. The state paid officers, state police, FBI, whoever it is, they pay them to kill us. When you have that going on, it's done by the state, guys. What conversation can you really have when you talk about justice or community justice? An officer, a judge give a person a certain amount of time. Let's have a real conversation. A real conversation would be, how in the world do David Layton's office allow those 3 white boys that threw the rock off the overpass get probation? And you call that, a guy was murdered. A guy was murdered. A guy was murdered. These 3 white boys threw a rock off an overpass. David Layton's office been playing with that case all this time, and these white boys getting probation, man. And then you want to say that we shouldn't have a problem with the way these 3 white boys were treated? I'm not making this up. I'm not lying. David Layton's office allowed these 3 white boys that murdered a man in a car, threw a rock off an overpass, and caused this man to die. And they played with this case all this time, and now these boys, these 3 white boys that murdered this man is getting probation, and you say the justice system, or we talk about justice system, or we say, well, this is right, this is wrong, or this is right. Anytime you have a system that's been set up to allow these 3 white boys to basically walk because they murdered a person, and you saying, our brothers and sisters that's down there that are under David Layton's authority, meaning the district attorney played with this case for 4 years to allow these white boys to get probation and walk. And you tell us we supposed to be all right with that? Oh, no, they say it's nothing to look at. You too sensitive. Why you black people want to bring that up? Oh, y'all always whining. Why you bringing up the race card? Because it's always a card in race. It's always racist. There's always bigotry. It's always bias going on in our lives daily. And we want to deny it. And white people have the power to live on their yachts and go on vacation. And right now you see snow outside, so they going up to get on their snowmobiles, and they gonna get on the powder, and they gonna powder down the mountain, and they gonna drink their hot toddies and their liquor, and they gonna sit around talking about us, because that's all they do. It's amazing. White people go places and they sit around talking about us. They go and do things and they hate us 24 hours a day, and all we want to do is be left alone. You know, it is so sad that we are allowing ourselves to continue to be victimized. We are allowing ourselves to be treated like this, we as black people, and it is appalling. I do want, before I close out, would like to highlight, we got some information here, guys. I'm gonna read this here. Artistic vision, young visionaries. It takes a village to raise a child, rites of passage, teen mentoring program. This program is a youth program, 9th to 12th grader, 13 to 17 years old. The program is held at Flint Southwestern, 8 weeks course every Wednesday during the 6 hour. For more information, contact 313-258-8967. That's 313-258-8967. We're transitioning youth to adulthood. The objectives are character development, academic enrichment, leadership development, culture awareness, attitude and behavior, and life skills. Again, these are the information that we're going to be handing out throughout our community. I just wanted to highlight this one right quick. Our next bundle of joy, again, this one right here is Happy Kwanzaa, holla, holla, holla. We don't believe in this white Jesus Christmas mess, but for you Negroes it does. We're not going to hate on you guys, so come join us. And again, this is December the 26th to January the 1st. Join Kwanzaa's Zoom celebration. Again, for you people that's afraid to come outside, this is on Zoom. And again, please, the Zoom meeting, again, so we can, I have to put on my extra eyes. My sister, maybe you can read this because I don't have my extra eyes.
Okay, let me see. Let's see what I can do here. All right, let's see. All right. Hey, y'all. All right. Annual celebration. Happy Kwanzaa. Join us on the Kwanzaa Zoom 12/26/21 through 1/1/22 from 1 o'clock to 3 p.m. We're going to post this because there's a code here that you
Yep.
can have. There's a code here that you can have. This is organized by Dewan E. Robinson, and the founder is Mother E. Hill Deloney.
That's right.
So you guys make sure that you join this Zoom celebration. Unfortunately, we haven't been doing it person to person due to COVID, and we want to continue to keep everybody safe, but we also want to make sure that everybody is participating as well. So we're gonna make sure that we put this up so that you all have the code so you can join the Zoom meeting. Again, that's going to be 12/26/21 through 1/1/22 from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Great job, my sister. The next one is what we're doing today, community conversation right here. This is your adorable me. That's adorable me. And again, Hubert Naeem Robert. Then it's the first and the third Saturday each month, 9 to 10. We went a little over today. Again, this is for our community. Guys, this is an opportunity for you to come in and sit down and for us to really get down to the nitty gritty about solutions. We're not just sitting around talking about problems. We're talking about solutions. Our other card that we have here is our Black Lives Matter Flint. And again, number is 810-545-7505. Flint at blmmichigan.org and www.blacklivesmatter.org. And down here at the bottom, you guys see us on Facebook, YouTube. Also, you have the little blue code down there that you can tap in, donate, support, and also come join. We are definitely doing a recruiting. We would like for our community to be participating. If you have ideas and want to help, strengthen our community and build on some projects, we need our community to be a part of this. Don't be afraid of Black lives. Don't be afraid of Black lives. And Black lives do matter. Don't be afraid, even if you work for the white man. Say Black lives matter. Don't be afraid to come join us. Even if you want to be secret and don't want your employer to know. I understand that a lot of you guys are hiding from your white employer. So if you're hiding, you can help donate. You can come down and volunteer. You can make sure you can do, especially in your own house, guys, you can work and help teach your children some multiplications, some speaking skills, how to read, how to write. There are so many things that we all can do, guys, to really make a difference, to turn the corner in our community. And like the sister said, for us to take our community back, we got to be bold and be unashamed. We have to be bold and unashamed that we're taking our community back. And again, I also want to extend a real heartfelt thank you to my technician, Mr. Mick. He has been a real committed warrior. And a lot of times people behind the scenes, don't get the Kari shields that they need. And I just want to give my brother a plethora of Kari shields because he's a stand-up guy and I want nothing but the best for him. I just thank him for holding the program up, holding Black Lives Matter up. And really today we are kicking off our second annual holiday giveaway. So we are going to be here all day today producing. We're going to have people coming in and out, sharing this information as we get setting up for the giveaway, start packaging things up. We're going to keep this on going so this could we're going to document this. We're going to make this be a feel-good day. And so we want you to come down and be on camera, come down and maybe sing some songs to our beautiful birthday young lady.
Can somebody bring me some breakfast?
Breakfast?
Can somebody bring me something serious? I'm not even joking. I'm
hungry.
I've been shopping all day for these children, and I need breakfast. Can somebody bring me some breakfast? I don't drink coffee, but I'll take a tea or a hot chocolate. But please, somebody bring me something.
So what kind of breakfast do you want?
I don't even care as long as it's not pork.
All right then. So that means some waffles and chicken, some grits. Guys, look, omelets. Bring our queen something to eat because she didn't have breakfast. And again, as always, this is Hubert Naeem Roberts. Again, this community conversation, this is for you and our community. Again, please, if you have any anything you want to get in contact with me about, my number is 810-394-4105. Email mentorroberts@gmail.com. Please, our office is 2712 North Saginaw Street. Please come down and be a part of Black Lives Matter Flint. Stop hiding and being afraid of being black. You're going to be black for the rest of your life, even if you're trying to be white. We just want you on board, guys. And once we vet you and see that you're not an agent for the government, we'll bring you on. And I want to encourage you guys to look up the 10-point plan by the Black Panthers. That's something we want to implement in our community. The 10-point plan by the Black Panthers is a sound plan. And I'm hoping that some of you guys will research it and get engaged and get on board. Again, I love our community. I love Flint. I'm a resident here. And as my sister said, we're taking our community back. Again,